Joining us now is a guy that knows a thing or two about beating the Utes in high-level competition. He's also won at the major league level. Wally Joyner, MLB All-Star. Welcome to Studio B.
Good to be here. Thank you.
Okay, I think everyone right now wants to know what you are up to right now because you've been in baseball forever, but now you've stepped away for a minute.
Well, maybe longer than a minute. 30 years in the game was a long time, and I was coaching. My last job with the Detroit Tigers as their hitting coach. I had a great time with the offense that I was given. Miguel Cabrera, Ian Kinsler, J.D. Martinez, who's a free agent this year now with the Arizona Diamondbacks. I had them all, and it was fun to watch them take batting practice. It was also fun to watch them play in the game. So that was November of 2016. I hung up my coach's shoes, and I've come back home. I've enjoyed my year here. There's a company in Salt Lake called Onset Financial, who is a financial leasing company that I've enjoyed being a part of, and they've asked me to come on board. We've been successful enough to open up a philanthropic charitable division called Onset Gives.
Outstanding.
And we are very interested in giving back to the community and doing things for charities that mean a lot to us. So it's been fun to be a part of that.
You'll be the keynote speaker at BYU Baseball's 5th annual First Pitch. It's fundraiser, dinner auction. This guy's been the host before. January 26th at the New Skin Ballroom in Provo, by the way. How fun is it for you to be still a part of BYU Baseball, which is on the rise, by the way?
Yeah, well, I'm glad it's on the rise. It should be on the rise, and I think Coach Littlewood has done a great job putting it in that direction. Excited about the event in January, and we should have some fun that night. But I was there last year with Dale Murphy. He did a great job. We raised a lot of money, which I think is what the event is about. And I think between last year and this year, BYU's gotten a new turf, which I'm excited to go watch those guys play on.
So you helped raise the money essentially for the turf too, right? Like that's.
Well, thanks for giving me that credit. But,
I know there were many.
You're the reason, Wally.
I took it over the top, right? Yeah. No, we had a few packages last year that I helped put together to raise money, and I'm all about that. I want to create opportunities to raise money for great causes, but also put packages together that those that buy will enjoy. So it's a win-win for everybody.
The fraternity of BYU Baseball now has a man in the Baseball Hall of Fame. Jack Morris just inducted. What was your reaction to hearing that Jack was going to go into the Hall?
Well, I was very excited for Jack. I played against him for many years. He was a great competitor. You had to be at your best to compete against him. There's a handful of guys that are on the cusp of getting in. The two that got in this year were well-deserved, in my opinion, Alan Trammell and Jack Morris.
Speaking of Tigers.
Yeah. Number 3 and number 47 are going to be retired this year in August, I think, in Detroit. So very, very excited for that. But there's still, in my opinion, one that's still on that cusp. Mr. Dale Murphy needs to get in.
Amen to that.
I find his talent to be so much better than others. And I find out that I grew up in Atlanta, so I think I can speak for Dale. He was on some very, 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 I can keep going, bad teams. And to be a 2-time MVP in the National League on the worst team that was put together in those years.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. And, a lot of times postseason play gets you into the Hall, and for Dale not to be able to have that on his resume, it's not his fault. And a better guy off the field than on the field, and I think that goes a long way also. Just a great role model, a great if you were at the event last year, he is one of my all-time heroes and will never change. And I think that those type of people need to be in the Hall of Fame.
Now, you told a story last year about him tracking you down on the freeway, which got a good chuckle out of it.
Oh, it was hilarious. It was, here I am driving an ice truck in high school, and the MVP of the National League is beeping his horn next to me, waving at me like I'm somebody special, right? So that just gives you an idea of what Dale Murphy is.
Why was he honking his horn?
Well, we were on the 285, and he recognized me, right? I mean, how does somebody that is in his stature recognize a high school guy that I met, that he met one time? So it was very impressive. It was obviously something I've never forgotten. And, here I'm in a broken down ice truck driving, delivering, trying to make an hourly wage, and the MVP of the National League has time to look at me and have an idea of who I am, and it was just unbelievable.
That's great. That's great. BYU used to have a bunch of major leaguers. I mean, we've named some of these guys. We claimed Dale, although he never played here, kind of went here for
he did go
a
here.
term or
yeah,
whatever.
absolutely.
Yeah, we talked with him last year about it on set. It was fun. Corey Snyder and Jack Morris and yourself and Rick Aguilera and all these guys in the 80s and 90s, and it was fun. Luckily, this last year, BYU finally broke some guys in. Hanneman and Cole and Brugman made it into the majors. What will it take to have more major leaguers from BYU?
I think that talent goes a long way.
Mm-hmm.
You have to hit that slider. You have to throw that slider, right? And you have to catch those one-hoppers. So you have to understand how to play the game. You have to have, but it's so hard to get into the big leagues, right? We were spoiled, I think, for a period of time. Coach Pullins did a great job recruiting some very talented players. The 3 years I was here, 81, 2, and 3, it was a blast to go play baseball. We had great talent. We had great camaraderie. And we were very successful. We loved being out there. We didn't want to be the weakest link on the team, so we would stay in the weight room longer. We would stay on the field longer. We really did eat, sleep, and drink baseball, and I think that was a credit to Coach Pullins, Coach Tuckett, and what was required and expected here on the baseball field. So. You have no idea who's going to do what, I think that's just a little teaser to my talk in January. So, nobody has an idea what the future is. You can have a little control over it. But to answer your question, it's just exciting to get those guys back in the big leagues from BYU and watch what they can do and be a part of their career. But I can remember when I was at BYU, not only were we practicing in the Smithfield House, but Dane Orge would come in and practice with us, and
he had a great career. My goodness.
Yes, and others would come in. Dale Murphy came in, and
Did he wave to you again?
He didn't. I don't think he recognized me then. So, anyway, we just had a great time of a team of BYU players, college, professional, minor leagues that would, practice together, and I think that went a long ways.
Now, you are going to be, again, the keynote speaker at BYU Baseball's first pitch dinner, which includes a silent auction. If you'd like more details for that first pitch dinner, check out the link we tweeted out on our BYU Sports Nation Twitter account. You can also go to BYUCougars.com for that. I will say this, Wally. Of all former BYU athletes, I think you've had the most respectable career in Hollywood on the big screen.
I mean that's given, isn't it? I took my talent on the baseball field and left it there when I went into the acting career that I had, and my claim to fame in the Utah Valley and the Salt Lake Valley isn't a professional baseball player. It was Bishop Angel in the singles ward. So. I painfully have to accept that, and there was I think about a 5-movie. It's not a trilogy. What would it be? 5 movies.
I don't even know.
It would be a 5-movie
Quintilogy.
Yeah, there you go.
Little Big League. was
Oh,
one of
well,
my
6,
favorites.
right? Well, I was
Yeah.
just thinking about
You have
the.
an IMDb page? I
Yeah,
gotta-
well, I probably do. I
We're
am a
gonna look that
SAG
up.
member, so
Are you really?
yeah, I used to be. I think they kicked me out because of my talent, but
You do have an IMDb page. I'm looking at it right now.
there it is.
The
Little
singles
big
second
league.
ward, so there was a sequel.
Well, rightfully so,
missed that one,
right?
sorry.
Singles ward, single second ward, the
Home
the
teachers.
adventures of home teaching,
The RM.
church ball, right?
Yeah,
There we go.
That's
All
great
of those
stuff.
Wow, look at
Academy
you.
Award movies that were edited on the floor. So,
Look at this. Wow.
Well, it's been great to have you with us.
Thank you, guys.
Look
Enjoyed
forward
it.
to the first pitch dinner.
we
We'd
get
like you
your
to sign
signature?
our stretch white flag
it
as
would
well.
be my pleasure.
Yeah.
Major League Baseball All-Star Wally Joyner, former BYU baseball great and the star of so many Hollywood movies.
Listen, I didn't know we were going to have a guy in here that was going to top us on screen.
I know.
Jeez.
He's got a loaded IMDb page.
If you guys want any, coaching or anything like that for your
Yeah,
TV,
We'll call you.
please call me.
Yeah, we'll call you.
All right.